Hi there, welcome to first video, and this is the lesson about hue and saturation. So as you will work in Adobe Photoshop, you must have to know the what is the hue and saturation. Hue and saturation using in Adobe Photoshop for changing the colors. So you can take a look. This is an example for hue and saturation. This is a red berry, and using the hue and saturation, I have changed the color of this red berry for more 3 times. So using the hue and saturation, I converted it into blue color, then green, and then purple. So this is how you will use the hue and saturation in Photoshop for changing the color of subject or object. So let's take a look in details about the hue and saturation in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, this is our image, and you can take a look. We got 2 red berries in here, and we will change the color using hue and saturation. Okay, so you will get hue and saturation option inside the adjustments panel. So this is the adjustments panel, or if you are unable to find the adjustments panel in your Photoshop software, then you just have to click on a Windows menu, and here is the option for adjustments. So you just have to make it enable. Okay, inside the adjustments panel, you will get this hue and saturation option. So you just have to click on this hue and saturation option, and this is the properties of hue and saturation. And here is the parameter of hue, and this is the saturation. So if you want to change the color, if you want to make this very purple in color, then you have to change the parameter of hue. So let's make the berry purple. So let me move the pointer in left side. That means I want to reduce the hue point. Okay, cool. You can take a look. We got the purple berry, and let's make it blue. So you have to reduce the hue once again. Okay, cool. We have the blue berry in here. I mean blue color berry. Okay, cool. And if you want to make it with the cyan color, then we have to reduce the point for hue. Okay, cool. So this is the cyan color we just applied, and if we want to make it green, then we have to move the pointer to the plus, because right now we have the minus 180 point for hue parameter, but to make it green we have to move this pointer at right side. So let's do that. Blue once again, purple, red. Okay, here is the green. Okay, we have plus 94 point for hue, and we got the green color in our berry. So this is how you will change the hue in Adobe Photoshop, and using the hue, how you will change the color of berry. You just seen it. And if you go more than 100, then you will get the colors, and if you go for plus 180, then you will have the cyan color as well. Okay, so let me back in red color. Okay, right now I have the red color, and this is the use of hue, and this is the parameter for saturation. So if you want to decrease the saturation, you can use it. So using the saturation, the level of color or the percentage of color will be decreased, and you can take a look. We don't have the strong or active red color in this berry, but if you increase the saturation, then we will have the active and strong color in berry. Okay, now it looks good. Cool, huh? So This is how you will use hue and saturation in Adobe Photoshop, and using the hue and saturation you just seen how to change the color of object or subject in Adobe Photoshop. So do a practice and see you in next lesson. Hi there, welcome once again, and this is the time for learning vibrance and saturation in Adobe Photoshop. So what is vibrance and saturation? Fundamentally, both work to increase and decrease the intensity of color in image, but saturation simply increases the intensity of all color and the vibrance increases the intensity of muted color. So you can take a look. Here is an image from our exercise file, and you can take a look. We have an image, but this image is not active because we don't have the actual color of leaves, we don't have the actual color of grass, and the image is not seems active. But after applying the vibrance and saturation, how it's look like. So here is the vibrance one layer. Let me turn it on, and you can take a look the difference between before and after. Right now we have the actual color of grass, we have the actual color of leaves, and even we have the actual color of dress as well. So this is vibrance and saturation in Adobe Photoshop. So let's take a look in details about vibrance and saturation. Okay, so this is our image, and you can take a look. This image is not seems active, and you can take a look. The grasses and the leaves and the trees are not showing the exact green color that is required. Even she wear a red dress, but we don't have the actual red color for her dress, and we will make it right now using vibrance and saturation. So let's start using. You will get vibrance and saturation inside the adjustments panel, and inside the adjustments panel you will get this vibrance option. So let me click on here. Okay, this is the properties of vibrance and saturation. So let's start for vibrance. So if you want to keep the skin tone color perfectly, and if you want to make active, and if you want to increase the intensity, then you have to increase the vibrance. So let me increase the vibrance. Okay, you can take a look. We got some changes in here, and if you want to decrease the intensity, then you have to decrease the vibrance. And we have the condition of image like that, but we will make active this image, we will not make more inactive here. So let's increase the vibrance for, I think 30% is really good. Okay, now we have to increase the saturation. If you increase the saturation, the entire color will be increased, and we will get the active green color, and we will get the active red color for the dress. Okay, so let's increase the saturation. Okay, and you can take a look. We got the nice color of leaves, we got the nice color of dress, we got the nice color for grass as well. But if we increase saturation a lot, then the image will not look like perfect. So we have to keep the balance, and I don't want to keep the saturation for plus 70 point. I think 30 or 32 point is good. Okay, so I am keeping 30 for vibrance and 32 for saturation, and you can take a look. We got the nice image in here, we got the nice intensity, and we got the perfect image. So let's take a compare between before and after. Let me turn off the vibrance layer. Here is the before, and here is the after applying the vibrance and saturation. So this is how you will apply vibrance and saturation in Adobe Photoshop. So see you in next lesson. Hi there, Welcome again, and in this lesson we will learn about levels. So what is levels in Adobe Photoshop? Levels adjustment to correct the tonal range and color balance of any image by adjusting intensity levels of image shadow, midtone and highlights. You can take a look. We have an image here from our exercise file, and we want to apply the levels in here to fix this image. You can take a look. We don't have the proper brightness, highlight and shadow in here. So let's take a look how it will look like after applying the levels. So let me turn on the levels layer, and you can take a look. We got the nice image and we got good highlights, shadow and midtones as well. So before, after, before, after. So here is the difference between before and after applying the levels. So let's take a look how it will apply levels in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, this is our image and you can take a look. We don't have the perfect highlight, we don't have the perfect midtones, and we don't have the perfect shadows in here, and we will fix the image using levels. So let's start the process. So we have to use the levels from adjustments panel. So this is our adjustments panel and here is the option for levels. So let me click on here, and this is the properties of levels. If you want to apply the perfect highlight, midtone and shadow, then you have to decrease the area of here and you can put the manual values in this field. So let me decrease the levels and let's start fixing the image. Okay, you can take a look. We got the perfect brightness for here, and you can take a look. We have 215 point for values, and if you want to apply a little darker effect, then you can increase the value in here. Okay, we can put for 12 point. Okay, looks good. And let me minimize the properties and let's take a look and let's compare between before and after. So let me turn off the levels layer. Okay, this is the previous one, and let me turn on the levels one layer, and this is the after. So you can take a look. We got a nice image in here, and this image is fixed using the levels, and now it really looks more stronger and active than before. But if you want to learn perfectly about the color correction or color adjustment, then I have another course about Adobe Photoshop. You can take a look in my profile and you can take a look on there for more learning about color correction and color adjustment. Okay, so see you in next lesson with different tutorial. Hi there, welcome again, and this is the time for text stylization. You may have to use type tool or text several times in Adobe Photoshop. And right now we are going to learn how you will stylize the text with stroke, with gradient and with bevel ambush. So let's take a look what is stroke, what is gradient and what is bevel and ambush in Adobe Photoshop, and how you will use that to stylize your text. So at first we have to create a new document, and therefore we have to go for file menu, and from there we have to go for new option. This is the pop-up, and we have to use the default Photoshop size, and the size is width 7 inches and height 5 inches, and the resolution should be 300 pixel per inches. So let me click OK. Okay, here is our document, and at first we have to use the type tool. So here is the type tool, and this type tool are using for typing the text, and right now we are using the horizontal type tool. Okay, so I want to use a red color text. So right now we have the white color, and if we type the text here, the color of the text will be white. But I don't want to use the white color, and I want to change the white color. I want to use a red color. So let's change the color for text. So here is the option, and here is the color picker. So I want to use some kind of red color. So let me go with this color. Okay, looks good. And let me click OK. Cool, huh? And I don't want to use this small size of text. So if you want to increase the size of text, then here is the option. You can increase the size of text from here. So let me go for 60 point. Okay, and this is the option for selecting the font. Right now I'm using ethnocentric, or you can use any font you like to use. Okay, so as an example, I will write my name at first. So let me write my name, Stephen Cowell Soren. Okay, so here is my name, and you can take a look. We got the red color for our text, and we used the red color from here, and you can take a look. We got the 60 point size for this text, and you have to change the font size from here. So here is the tick mark. Let me click on this tick mark, or you can hit Ctrl or Command Enter button from your keyboard. Okay, so this is our text, and right now we are going to stylize this text. So at first we will learn about stroke. So what is stroke in Adobe Photoshop? Actually, stroke is a kind of easy paint border around the image or around the text. If you apply stroke in text, then you will have a colorful frame in the text, and that will create a special effect. So let's apply the stroke in this text, and therefore we have to use the blending option. So you can take a look. We got a new layer in here. So you can use stroke in two ways. You just have to right click with your mouse, and then you will get the blending options, or you can use the effects option inside the layer panel. So let's go with the effects option. So you just have to click effects option, and from there you will get this stroke option. So let's click the stroke option. Okay, here is the pop-up for adding stroke, and here is the settings of stroke. So at first we have to increase the size. So let me increase the size. So right now we have only 1 pixel, and let me increase the size, and you can take a look. We got a black color stroke in our text. So this is called the size of stroke. So right now we have 9 pixel, and then we have to go for position. So right now we have the inside stroke. So you can take a look. We have the inside stroke, and if you want to change the position, then you just have to click in here. Then you will get 2 other options. One is outside. Let me click on here, and you can take a look. We got the stroke outside, and another option is center. So let me click center, and this is the position for center stroke. But I think we will use the inside stroke. This is better. Okay, now it looks good. But if you want to use the outside stroke, you can use that outside stroke as well, depend on you. But right now I want to use the inside stroke, because we have to add the bevel and ambush, we have to add the gradient, so inside stroke will be better. So here is the blending option. You can choose different type of blending option from here, and here is the opacity. So right now we have 100% opacity. If you want to reduce the opacity, then reduce the opacity, and you can take a look. We got our opacity decreased, and the effect of decreasing opacity applied on here. So I think opacity 100% is good. Okay, and here is the color. So right now we are using the black color, and if you want to change any other color you can do that. Suppose if you want to put the yellow color, then you can put the yellow color, and you can take a look, here is the yellow color. And if you want to put green, then here is the green. This is cyan, blue, purple, but I think black is good. Okay, so let me click OK, and let me click OK. Okay, cool. So you can take a look, we got a new layer in here along with our text layer. So here is the stroke layer. If you don't want to use the stroke, then you just have to turn off this stroke layer. So let me click on this eye icon. Okay, stroke is gone. And if you want to get it back, then you just have to turn it on. Okay, we have the stroke back. So this is how you will apply the stroke in text in Adobe Photoshop. And next we will learn about gradient and how we'll apply the gradient in text. We are going to learn right now. So what is gradient in Adobe Photoshop? Actually, gradient is the blending of two or multiple color. So if you use gradient in this text, then this text will look much better than before. So let's apply the gradient, and if you want to apply the gradient, you just have to make sure your text layer is selected, and then you have to click on this effects option, and from there you will get this gradient overlay option. So let me click on this gradient overlay. Okay, here is the pop-up, and you can take a look, the style of our text is changed. That means the gradient is applied on the text, and you can take a look, here is the presets of gradient, and this gradient is applied to the text. But we don't want to use this one, we want to change the gradient. So you just have to click on here and you will get different type of presets. So let me click on this blue folder, and this is the gradient editor, and let me go for the blue presets of gradient, and inside the blues gradient folder you will get different type of presets. So let me select this one, and you can take a look, our gradient is applied on the text. Let me select this one. Okay, we have the blue and a cyan color in our gradient, and if you want to change the blue color and if you want to keep this cyan color, you can do that. Suppose I don't want to use this blue color, I want to use a green color instead of this blue color. So how you will change it? You just have to click with your mouse in this gradient point and you will get this color option. So let me click on here, and from the color picker I want to pick a green color. Okay, I want to pick this green color, and let me click OK. So here is the output, and if you don't want to use the green color for more, and if you want to use a small portion of green color, then you can do that. Then you can move this green color as well. Okay, now you can take a look, we only have a small part of green color and we have the maximum cyan color in here. So let me click OK, and you can take a look, we got the maximum cyan color and we got a little green color. So this is the way of gradient to set the colors, and this is the angles. Right now we have the 90-degree angles, and if you want to change the gradient angles, then you can do that easily. Let me change the angles. Okay, right now we have 13-degree, and you can take a look, the color of gradient is changed. We had the green color gradient in the last line, and for the first and the second line we had the cyan color, but once we change the angle, you can take a look, we got the color of gradient change inside the text. So this is how angles are really working. Here is the minus 85 degrees, here is 172 degrees, and here is 95 degrees. So let me click OK, and you can take a look. We got the gradient overlay here. So this is how you will apply the gradient in text, and I'm pretty sure you are enjoying this lesson so far. And right now we will apply the bevel and ambush inside the text. Then we will have a new effect in here. So let's apply the bevel and ambush in this text. So what is bevel and ambush in Adobe Photoshop? Bevel and ambush is often considered the most powerful and adaptable tools in Adobe Photoshop layer style. The traditional use for bevel and ambush is to make something look more three-dimensional by adding highlights and shadow to different part of your layer. So it will help us to make this text more stylish. So let's apply the bevel and ambush in here. To apply bevel and ambush, you just have to click on this effects option, and from there you will get this bevel and ambush option. So let me click on this bevel and ambush option. So here is our pop-up, and this is the settings for bevel and ambush. Okay, so at first we have to increase the depth. So let me go for 344% of depth, and then we have to increase the size as well. Okay, you can take a look. We got the bevel and ambush effect applied on our text, and you can take a look. We have the three-dimensional effect in our text, and let me increase the soften. Okay, and let me reduce the size. Okay, I think 16 pixel is good. And let me place the 7 pixel for soften, and if you move the depth, then you will have the change of depth inside the text. You can take a look. I just reduce the depth and let me increase, and you can take a look. We got a nice depth right now. Okay, so if you want to change the style, then you have to click on this style option. Right now we have the inner bevel, and here is some other option for styling. This is called the outer bevel. Let me click on here, and you can take a look. We got the style changed, and right now we have the outer bevel applied on this text, as well as ambush. Here is the pillow ambush, and here is the stroke ambush. But I think inner bevel style is really good, so let me select the inner bevel, and right now we have the attractive bevel in our text. So let me click OK. Okay, you can take a look. We got stroke in our text, we got gradient inside our text, and finally we got bevel and ambush in our text. So all the effect in this text is applied to our layer panel. If you want to remove the gradient overlay, then you can do that easily. Okay, right now we don't have the gradient overlay, and we got our previous color back. If you want to remove the stroke, you can do that. You just have to turn on the stroke layer. Okay, we don't have the stroke, we only have the text and bevel ambush, and let me turn off the bevel and ambush layer in here. Okay, we have the previous style of text, and let me turn on the gradient overlay. Cool, huh? Let me turn on the bevel and ambush. Looks much better, and let me enable the stroke. Okay, we have the stroke. So now it really looks much better, and I'm sure you will like these things to make some changes of your text and to make some stylish text effect. So this is how you will apply stroke in text, this is how you will apply gradient in text, and finally how you will apply the bevel and ambush in text. You just seen it. So You just have to do a practice for applying these three things in text for stylize your text. So see you in next lesson. Hi there, welcome once again, and this is the time for learning image blur. In last lesson we learned how to make a background blur, but in this lesson we will learn how to make entire image blur or how to make a specific object blur. So you can take a look. Here is an image from our exercise file, and if you want to make the entire image blur, so let me show you. Let me turn off the no blur layer. Here is the entire image blur, and if you want to make any specific object blur, then let me turn on the single blur layer. Okay, you can take a look. We got two object transparent and we got a single orange blur. So we will learn this entire things in this lesson, so let's take a look. So this is our image and you can take a look. We have three orange in here, and we will make this entire image blur, and then we will make a specific object or any specific orange, we will make it blur. So at first we have to duplicate the background layer, so let's do that. So we just have to right click with our mouse in background layer, and here is the duplicate layer option. So let me write a single blur and let me click OK. And let me duplicate the background layer once again, and let me write no blur and let me click OK. So let's place the no blur layer at top, and right now I want to make this entire image blur, so therefore we have to turn off the no blur layer along with single blur layer. So we have to turn off no blur and single blur layer, and please make sure this background layer is selected and this background layer is turned on. Okay, so right now we will make this entire image blur, therefore we have to click the filter menu, and from there we will go for blur option, and from there we will go for Gaussian blur option. Okay, here is the pop-up, and let's increase the radius, and you can take a look. Already a blur effect is applied on the image, so let's increase the radius more, and right now we have the medium blur effect. Let's increase more, and we have the hard blur effect right now. So let me click OK. So you can take a look. We have a hard blur effect in the image, and depend on your needs you can increase or reduce the radius of Gaussian blur. Okay, right now we will turn on the single blur layer, and we will select the single blur layer, and right now we will make blur only this left orange, and therefore we have to make a selection for this orange, and therefore we will use quick selection tool. So here is the quick selection tool, and we have to make a selection. So let's increase the brush size. Okay, 109 pixel is good. So let's make the selection for this left orange. Okay, we have the perfect selection using the quick selection tool, and right now we have to use the Gaussian blur once again. So let's click the filter menu, blur option, and here is the Gaussian blur. Okay, here is the pop-up, and we have to increase the radius for Gaussian blur. So let's increase the radius, and you can take a look. Already Gaussian blur effect is applying on this left orange. Let's increase more, and here is the blur. Right now we have the medium blur, but if you want to make the hard blur, then you have to increase the radius as well. Okay, so we have the hard blur right now, and let me click OK. So we have the hard blur effect in the left orange, and let's make a deselection. So you can press Ctrl or Command D from your keyboard, or you can just click the select menu, and here is the deselect option. So we got the deselection for our left orange, and you can take a look. Our left orange is blur, but the middle and the right orange is still transparent. And if you want to get back the entire image transparent, then you just have to turn on the no blur layer. So let me turn on this layer, and we have the entire transparent image right now. So if you want to get back the entire image blur, then you just have to turn off these two layer, then you will have the entire image blur, because the entire blur filter is applied to the background layer. And if you want to get back the single orange blur, then you have to turn on the single blur layer. And if you want to get back the entire image with no blur, then you just have to turn on the no blur layer. Okay, so this is how you will make the entire image blur, or if you want to make any specific object blur, then you have to do the procedure which we just seen on this lesson. So see you in next lesson. Hi there, welcome again, and this is the time for learning background blur in Adobe Photoshop. So what is background blur in Photoshop? This technique involves making an accurate selection of the subjects in the photo, duplicating them, remove them from the original background, blurring the background, and then placing them back into the image. So you can take a look. Here is an image from our exercise file, and you can take a look. A beautiful lady in this image, and she have a background in here, and we want to make the background blur, and we want to keep her transparent. So let me turn off the no blur layer. Boom, we got the blur background and we got the transparent subject. So this is called the background blur, and let's take a look how to make background blur in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, this is our image, and we have to duplicate the layer first. So let's duplicate the background layer. Let me right click with my mouse in the background layer, and here is the duplicate layer. Okay, let me type layer mask, and let me click OK, because we will add a layer mask in this layer. And let me duplicate once again the background layer, and let me write no blur, and let me click OK. And I want to put no blur layer at top, and then layer mask layer will be at second, and finally the background layer will be at bottom. Okay, so at first we have to turn off the no blur layer. Let me turn off this layer, and please select this layer mask layer. Okay, right now we have to make a selection for the subject, so let's use the quick selection tool. So here is the quick selection tool, and here is the option for increasing the brush size. I want to increase the brush size for 102 pixel, and hardness is 5% is good. So let's make the selection. Okay, we will only make a selection for this subject, but we will not make any selection for background. Okay, it will take some time, so let me complete the selection. Okay, we have the selection for the subject. You can take a look, we got a perfect selection. And right now we have to add a layer mask. So here is the option for add a layer mask, and you can take a look. A layer mask is added. If you turn off the background layer, then you will have the view of the subject without background. So let me turn on the background layer, and please make sure this layer mask layer is selected. And now we have to convert this layer into smart filters. So you just have to click on filter menu. Here is the filter menu, and then you have to go for convert for smart filters. So let me click OK, and you just have to click OK. Okay, you can take a look. Our layer mask is converted into smart filters, and here is the symbol. Okay, so right now we have to select the background layer, and we will add Gaussian blur in this background layer. So please make sure this background layer is selected. Then we have to click on filter menu. From there we have to go for blur option, and from there we have to go for Gaussian blur option. So let me click Gaussian blur. Okay, this is the pop-up for Gaussian blur, and we have to increase the radius for making the background blur. So let's increase the radius, and you can take a look. A slight blur is added on the background. Let's increase a little bit more, and you can take a look. We have some more blur in the background, and if you want to make more blur, then you can do it easily. Okay, we have the perfect blur right now. And if you want to increase a little bit, let's go for 95. Okay, 95 pixel, and we have the absolute blur background in this image, and we have the transparent subject. Okay, so let me click OK. Okay, so you can take a look. We got the perfect background blur in here, and we have the transparent subject. But if you want to get the previous background, in that case you have to select the no blur layer, and right now it's turned off. And if you want to get it back, then you have to turn on this no blur layer. So let me turn on the no blur layer. Okay, it's back once again. And if you want to keep the blur background, then you just have to turn it off. Okay, and if you select the layer mask, and if you turn off the layer mask, then you will have only the blur image of entire background image. Okay, and if you turn on the layer mask, then you will have the transparent subject. Actually, we added the blur effect for background layer, therefore the entire image got blurred, and we made a separation using layer mask for the layer mask layer. That's why we have the subject in layer mask, and we kept the layer mask transparent. That's why we got the subject transparent, and we got the background blur. So this is the process for making background blur. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. So let's have some practice. Hi there, welcome once again, and this is the time for learning Content Hour in Adobe Photoshop. So what is Content Hour? Photoshop Content Hour fill command was designed to make removing unwanted objects or a distracting element from your photos as easy as possible. You can use the Content Hour simply by selection with the lasso tool or pen tool, or using the quick selection tool. So let me show you an example. You can take a look. We have an image from our exercise file, and we got some more layers inside the layer panel. So let me turn on the layer 1, and you can take a look. The bird is removed from here. Let me turn on another layer, and we got removed another birds. And let me turn on the final layer, and the birds from this area are removed, but we have the perfect background. We have the blue skies. So all the things is done by Content Hour, and right now we will learn about how to use Content Hour fill in Adobe Photoshop. So let's take a look on entire process. Okay, this is an image of birds. The birds are flying on the sky, and if you want to remove some birds from here, then you can use the Content Hour fill. So At first, I want to remove this bird from here, and let's take a look how we will remove this bird from here using content error fill. So at first you have to use the lasso tool. So here is the lasso tool inside our tool panel. So let me click on the lasso tool, and I want to make a selection. So let me make a selection for this bird. Okay, we got a nice selection, and right now we will remove this bird from here, but we will keep the perfect background. We will keep the blue sky background in here, and we will only remove the birds from here. Okay, so let me click on this edit menu. So here is the edit menu, and from there we have to go for fill option. So let me click on fill option. Okay, so this is the pop-up for fill option, and you have to make sure the contents selected with the content error. So you may have foreground color, background color, color, or pattern, or anything else you can have on the contents, but you have to place the content error. So let me select the content error, and then you have to click OK. So let me click OK. Okay, you can take a look. The progress is loading. Magic! You can take a look. The bird is removed, and we have the perfect background as well as like before. So let me make a deselection. You can take a look. We got the selection remains in here. So you just have to press Ctrl or Command D for making the deselection. You can take a look. We have the perfect background, and we remove the bird. Okay, so here was only one bird. So right now I want to remove these two birds at once. Okay, so we have to make a selection using the lasso tool. So let's make a selection for two birds. Okay, cool. So we have to do the same things. We have to click the edit menu. From there we have to go for fill option, and you have to make sure that contents are set with the content error option, and you just have to click open. Okay, content error fill in progress. It could take some little more times. Magic! Rest of the two birds are removed from this area, and you can take a look. So it's really awesome, and this is really an outstanding tool for removing something from image using content error fill. And if you want to learn the use of content error fill for advanced or for professional purpose, then you can take a look. One of my course tab about professional Photoshop. You can take a look. In there we have the advanced and professional use of content error, and you can get that course in my profile. So you have to take a look on my profile. Okay, so finally, I want to remove these three birds from here, and we have to do the same things. We have to make a selection using the lasso tool. Okay, cool. And now we have to click the edit menu. From there we have to go for fill option, and we have to make sure that contents are with content error fill, and let me click OK. Okay, content error fill in progress. So magic! All the birds are from this area is removed. So this is the simple way to use content error fill in Adobe Photoshop, and I am pretty sure you are enjoying this lesson to use content error fill in Adobe Photoshop for removing object and keeping the background perfect. So this is how you will apply the content error fill in Adobe Photoshop for removing images or object or subject in Adobe Photoshop. So see you in next lesson. Hi there, welcome once again, and this is the time for learning shape and symbol in Adobe Photoshop. If you are newbie or if you are absolute beginner in Adobe Photoshop, then you have to know the use of shape, because during working in Adobe Photoshop you have to use different type of shapes for many times, and in this tutorial we are going to create a postcard using different type of shape. So this is our output of created postcard. We applied a round circle in here, we applied a star shape, we applied a horse kid, we applied a rounded rectangle shape over here, and we're going to apply most of the shapes in here. So let's take a look how you will create a postcard using different type of shape in Adobe Photoshop. So at first we have to create a new document, and therefore we have to click the file menu, and from there we will go for new option. Okay, this is the pop-up for creating the new document, and we want to use default Photoshop size for creating the new document, and it will get the default Photoshop size preset in Photo tab. So this is the Photo tab, and inside the Photo tab it will get this default Photoshop size preset, and the value for width is 7 inches and height is 5 inches and resolution is 300 pixel per inches for default Photoshop size. So let me click on create, and we have the document in our Photoshop software, and we are going to create a postcard in this blank document. But before that I want to zoom out this document, then it will help me to create postcard properly. To zoom out you just have to click the view menu, and from there you will get this zoom out option, or you can press Ctrl or Command minus button from your keyboard, and this is the keyboard shortcut for zoom out. So let me click on here, and you can take a look, we have the perfect size for creating the postcard, and right now we're going to create our postcard in here. So at first we have to create a round circle, and to create a round circle we have to use the ellipse tool. But where you will get the ellipse tool? You will get the ellipse tool inside the rectangle tools. So this is the rectangle tools, and with the rectangle tools you will be able to draw different type of rectangle shape, but with the rectangle tool you will not be able to draw any round circle. To draw a round circle you just have to use ellipse tool, and you will get the ellipse tool inside this rectangle tool. You just have to right click with your mouse, then you will get this ellipse tool. So let me click on this ellipse tool. Okay, right now we have the ellipse tool, and I don't want to use the black color as our fill color of round circle, and this is the option for black, and I want to change the black color, and you can pick any color, and here is the color picker option, and from the color picker I want to put the green color. Okay, so this is the green presets, and I want to pick the green color from here. Okay, I want to pick this green color, and let me click OK. Okay, cool. So right now we are going to draw a round circle. So let's draw a round circle. Okay, we have the round circle in here, and we want to scale this round circle properly. And to scale this round circle you just have to click the edit menu. From there you have to click on this transform path, and from there you will get this scale option, or you can press Ctrl or Command T. Okay, so now we will place this circle properly in our blank document, and we will scale this circle with our document. Okay, now we have the perfect position for our circle, and you can hit the enter button, or you can just click on this tick mark. So let me click on this tick mark. Okay, we have the perfect placement of layer, and right now we are going to add a yellow stroke to this round circle. But before that, I want to rename the layer name. Right now we have the ellipse 1 layer inside the layer panel, and I want to change the layer name. To change the layer, you just have to double click with your mouse in here, and then you have to write green circle. Okay, right now we have the green circle, and we are going to add a yellow stroke in this green circle. So let's add the yellow stroke, and you know it's quite simple. You just have to make sure this green circle layer is selected, and then you have to go for FX option. From there you have to go for stroke option. So let me click on stroke option. So this is the pop-up for a layer style, and we want to apply the stroke with yellow color. So at first we have to change the color. We have the white color, and we don't want to use any white color for stroke. We want to use the yellow color. So from the color option, you just have to click on color option, and here is the yellow color. You just have to pick the yellow color, and let me click OK. Okay, we placed the yellow color, but till yet we don't have the yellow stroke in our text because we didn't increase the size of stroke. Right now we only have the 1 pixel, but we have to increase the size. So let's do it. Okay, I want to go for 70 pixel, and please make sure the position should be with the outside. Okay, and let me click OK. So we have the perfect round circle with green color, and we have a nice yellow stroke in our green circle. Okay, so circle and stroke part is complete, and right now we are going to place an image on this blank space. So let's place an image. Okay, you can take a look. Here is our image. It's placed in here, and we want to scale this image properly. So let's scale the image properly. Okay, so we have the image properly in here, and once we complete the scaling, you have to press enter button from your keyboard, or you can click on this tick mark. So let me click on this tick mark. Okay, but you can take a look. This superhero image covered the round circle, but we want to place this image under the round circle. That means the green round circle will be placed in here, and in the blank space this image will be placed here. So how you will do that? Here is a technique by layer placement. You can take a look. We have the superhero layer at top, and to make the adjustment properly that the round green circle will be visible in left side and this image will be placed in blank space. To do that, you just have to move this superhero layer at middle. So right now we have the superhero layer at top, just we have to place this superhero layer under the green circle layer. So let's move this superhero layer under the green circle layer. Magic, you can take a look. Our green circle is visible, and we have the superhero image behind the green circle, and the blank space is covered by the superhero image. So this is how you will place an image, and this is how you will place the layer properly in Adobe Photoshop. So our circle and image part is done, and right now we're going to work with the element of inside circle. So at first we have to draw a star, and therefore we have to use the polygon tool. But before using the polygon tool, please make sure this green circle layer is selected and it's on top. Okay, to draw a star we have to use the polygon tool, and you will get the polygon tool inside the ellipse tool. So you just have to right click with your mouse in ellipse tool, then you will get this polygon tool. So let me select this polygon tool. Okay, And please take a look on sides that we have 5 sides in here. So let me draw a polygon shape, and I want to add a stroke. So here is the stroke option for this polygon shape, and you just have to click over here, and I want to put the black color for stroke. So let's pick the black color, and I want to increase the size of stroke. Right now we only have the 1 pixel, so you just have to increase the stroke size. Okay, we have the 12 pixel stroke in here, and this is the visibility of a stroke with the polygon shape. Okay, you can take a look. We have 5 sides in here, 1 2 3 4 5. And if you want to draw in a triangle, in that case you just have to place 3 sides. So let me put the 3, and with the 3 sides I can easily create a triangle in here. Okay, you can take a look. This is the easiest way for creating the triangle using the polygon tool. But our main focus is we will draw a star. So let's draw a star, but before that I want to delete this 2 new layer that's created through the polygon tool. I want to delete polygon 2 and polygon 1. Let's delete. You just have to select the polygon tool, and here is the delete option of layer. You just have to click yes, and let me delete the polygon 1, and you just have to click yes. Okay, so our polygon shapes are gone, and right now we are going to create a star. To create a star using the polygon tool, you just have to click on this settings option, and this settings option are placed beside the sides. So you just have to click over here, and you will get this star option inside the settings. So you just have to select the star, and right now you have to put 5 for sides because we will draw a 5 star. That means we will have the 5 sides in the star. Okay, so let's draw a star in here. Okay, cool. And we want to add a stroke for this star, and you know it's quite simple. You just have to click on this stroke option, and from there you can pick this black color, and you just have to increase the pixel. So let's increase the pixel. Okay, 10 pixel is good. Cool. So let's scale this star properly, and you know how to scale it. You just have to press Ctrl or Command T from your keyboard, or if you want to go through the edit menu, here is the edit menu, here is the transform path, and here is the scale option. Okay, so let's place this star in here. Okay, cool. So you just have to hit the enter button from your keyboard for placing the star inside the circle, or you can just click on this tick mark. So let me click on this tick mark. So we have the star inside the green circle, and right now we are going to place a horse riding kids inside the star. So let's do the process. So right now we have to place a horse riding kid inside this star, and therefore we have to use the custom shape tool. But before using the custom shape tool, I want to change the layer name. Right now we have the polygon 1 layer, and I want to rename this layer as star. So you just have to double click in the text with your mouse, and let me write star. Okay. Right now we have the star layer in here, and we are going to place a horse riding kid inside this star. So to import or to place a horse riding kid symbol inside the star, you have to use the custom shape tool. So you will get the custom shape tool inside this polygon tool. You just have to right click with your mouse in polygon tool, then you will get this custom shape tool. So let me click on this custom shape tool. Once you will click on custom shape tool, you will have a shape option in here at top. Okay, so let me click on this icon, and you will have different type of symbol and shapes on your Photoshop software. And if you don't have enough shape or a symbol in your software, then you don't have to worry about. I already given a shape file inside our exercise file. So let me show you how you will import any shape file in software. So you just have to click on this settings icon for importing the shape in your Photoshop software. You just have to click on this settings icon. Then you will get this import shape option. So let me click on this import shape option. So we just have to open shape and symbol folder, and inside the shape and symbol folder you will get this shapes CSH extension. You just have to select it, and then you have to click load. So once you will click load, all the shapes will be loaded in here. Okay, so we have to pick a horse riding kid, and let's start finding in here. Where is the horse riding kids? Let's search on down. Okay, here is the horse riding kids. So we just have to select this horse riding kids over here, and before using the horse riding kids, we have to change the fill color. I don't want to use the fill color for green, I want to use the white color. So we can do in two ways. We can directly draw the shape of a horse riding kid, or we can change the color at later. So let's draw the shape first. Okay, this is our horse riding kid shape, and you can take a look. We have a stroke in our horse riding kit, but we don't have the proper white fill in here. So therefore you just have to double click on this shape 221. You can take a look, a new layer is added in here. You just have to double click on here, and then you will have the color picker option. So I want to pick the white color. Okay, and let me click OK. And you can take a look, we have a heavy stroke over here. So therefore we have to reduce the stroke size. So here is the stroke option, and from there we will reduce the stroke. So let's reduce the stroke for 4 pixels. Okay, now it looks good. And we want to scale the horse riding kit properly, and therefore you just have to press Ctrl or Command T to scale this horse riding kit properly inside the stir. Okay, cool. So we have the horse riding kid inside the star, and right now we are going to type the text, and therefore we have to use the type tool. So let's do that. So we have to use the type tool. So here is the type tool. Let me use this type tool, and with the ethnocentric font I want to write Genius Kid. Genius Kid. Okay, we have the Genius Kid text in here, and let me click on this tick mark. Okay, we have the Genius Kid in here, and right now we have to make a border in here, and therefore we have to use a rectangle shape, and to draw a rectangle shape we have to use the rectangle tools. And you know where the rectangle tools is. You just have to right click with your mouse in this custom shape tool, then you will get this rectangle tool. Okay, so let's draw a rectangle tool shape in here using the rectangle tool. Okay, you can take a look, we have the green fill color for the rectangle tool, and therefore it's covered the entire things. And we have to add a stroke, and therefore we want to apply a stroke color for yellow. So let me pick the yellow color, and I want to increase the stroke size for 4 pixels. So let me write 4 pixels, and you can take a look, a thin border is applied in here. But we have to place this rectangle 1 layer under the Genius Kids layer. So we have to put the Genius Kid layer at top, and we have to place the rectangle layer under the Genius Kid layer. And now we have the perfect visibility of text, and we have a nice frame. Okay, so you can take a look in our rectangle shape. We have the hard rectangle shape, but we don't want to keep this hard rectangle shape. We want to change the corner, and I want to change the corner radius, and I want to create a rounded rectangle shape. And to do that, you just have to focus on the properties. This is the properties of a rectangle shape, and you can take a look. We have the option for increasing the corner radius, and right now we have the 0 pixel. So let me increase for 33 pixel. Okay, and you can take a look. We have a perfect rounded shape for our corner, and you can take a look. It really looks good. Okay, but I think the size of stroke seems a little, so let's increase the stroke size for this rounded rectangle shape, and you can increase the stroke size from properties or from here. So you can increase the size from anywhere. So I want to go for 12 pixel, and now we have the good stroke for our text. Okay, so we have to scale the text properly. We have the Genius Kid text in here, and we have to scale it properly, and therefore we have to select the Genius Kid layer, and then we have to press Ctrl or Command T for scaling. Okay, let's scale this text properly over here. Okay, now we have the proper scaling with the rounded rectangle shape and text. Okay, so we have a complete postcard in here. We have a nice round circle with the yellow stroke. We have the image, we have the star, and we have the horse riding shapes. We have the text, and we have the rounded rectangle shape. So this is how it will create a postcard using different type of shapes in Adobe Photoshop. So let's have some practice. Hi there. In this tutorial, we will learn about how to add shadow in image. So let's take a look on entire process. Okay, this is our image, and we will add a shadow in this apple. So at first we have to duplicate the layer. So here is the layer panel, and we want to duplicate this background layer, and therefore you have to right click with your mouse, and then you will get this duplicate layer option. Okay, let me write shadow, and let me click OK. And please make sure this shadow layer is selected. And right now we have to make a selection in this apple, and after making selection we have to add a layer mask, then we will add a drop shadow. To make a selection we have to use the quick selection tool. So here is the quick selection tool, and please make sure you are using add selection form. Okay, and I have to increase my brush size for quick selection tool. Here is the option for increasing your brush size. Okay, right now I have 20 pixel, but I want to increase more. Okay, 65 is good. And let me zoom in the image, and let's make a selection in this apple. Okay, you can take a look. We got a nice selection using the quick selection tool, and now we have to add a layer mask. So here is the option for adding layer mask. So let me click on here, and you can take a look. We got a layer mask in here, and Please make sure this shadow layer mask is selected, and now we will add drop shadow. So therefore you just have to click on this effects option. Here is the effects option, and then you will get this drop shadow option. So let me click on this drop shadow option. Okay, this is the pop-up for adding drop shadow, and you can take a look. Here is the settings. So please make sure you are not using any blending mode. You should have to keep the normal blending mode in here. Okay, and right now we have the 100% of opacity, but we can change it later. So at first we have to work with the distance, spread, and size. Okay, so at first I want to increase the size. So here is the size. So let me increase the size for 90 pixel, and you can take a look. We got a shadow effect in here. Then we will increase the percentage of spread. So let me increase. Okay, and you can take a look the changes in image. And now I want to increase the pixel of distance. So let me increase the pixel of distance, and you can take a look. The image is still remaining in same place, but the shadow is changing the distance. So let me increase more, and the shadow distance of shadow is increasing. Okay, and here is the opacity. Right now I want to change the opacity. Let me go for 60%, and right now we have a nice drop shadow in here, and this is the angle of shadow. So let me show you how this function is working. If you want to change the angle of shadow, then you have to use this angle option. So right now we have 90-degree angles, but if you want to change the position of a shadow, then you can use this angle. So let me go for 14 degree, and you can take a look. The angle of shadow is changed. Let me go for minus 60 degree, and you can take a look. Our angle of shadow is changed. Let me go for 168 degree, and we got the angle changed. So let me go for 90 degree once again. So this is how you will change the angle of shadow. And if you want to increase or decrease the size, so let me show you. I want to increase the size, and now it's look like this, and I want to reduce the size, and now it's look like this. And same as spread. After increasing the spread, now it's look like this way. And if you increase the distance, the drop shadow distance will be increased. Okay, this is just for showing you the different type of settings in here. But if you don't want to make so far distance, then you just have to reduce the distance, and you can reduce the spread as well. And now we have a little drop shadow in our apple. So let me create a drop shadow once again, as like before. Okay, now it looks good, and let me click OK. Okay, you can take a look. We got a new layer in here, and you can take a look. A drop shadow layer is added. If you turn it off, then drop shadow will be gone, and if you turn this on, then you will get back the drop shadow. So this is how you will add drop shadow in image in Adobe Photoshop. Hi there. In this tutorial we will learn about content aware fill, and in this tutorial we will remove subject and text from an image using content aware fill. So let's take a look. Okay, here is our image, and we got a subject in here, and we got the text on this brick wall as well, and we will remove this subject and text from this image. So let's start the process. At first I want to remove this beautiful lady from this image, and therefore we have to make a selection, and we will use the lasso tool. Here is the lasso tool. Okay, so let me make the selection for her. Okay, we got the selection, and now we have to click the edit menu. From there we will go for content aware fill option directly. We will not use this time fill option, we will directly use content aware fill. So let me click on this content aware fill. Okay, here is the pop-up, and you can take a look. Here the image is processing, and here is the preview. You can take a look. The subject, or this beautiful lady, is removed from this wall, and here is the preview. But one thing I want to show you, the setting of output. Here is the output setting. If you want to create a new layer for this subject, then you have to select this output to new layer. Then if you want to get back the subject, you can do that easily. So please make sure that you are using new layer in here. So let me click OK. Okay, here is the main image, and you can take a look. The beautiful lady, or the subject, is removed, and let me make the deselection. You just have to press Ctrl or Command D from your keyboard, and you can take a look. We got the nice brick wall here, and the subject is removed. But inside the layer panel, you can take a look. We got a new layer. Suppose you want to get back the new subject once again, then you just have to turn off this background copy layer. So let me show you. Let me turn off the background copy layer, then we will get back our subject again. So you just have to turn it off. Okay, you can take a look. We got our subject back, and if you want to remove, then you just have to turn on the background copy layer. Okay, subject is gone, and right now we will remove this text part, and therefore you have to select this background layer once again, and then you have to make a selection. So before start selection with the lasso tool, you have to make sure that you have selected this background layer. Okay, so let's make the selection. Okay, cool. And now we have to do the same things. Edit menu, content aware fill. Okay, here image is processing, and we have to make sure that our output should be with the new layer. Okay, here is the preview, and you can take a look on preview. The text is removed from the wall. So let me click OK. Okay, you can take a look. Our text is removed from here, and let me make the deselection. So you just have to press Ctrl or Command D from your keyboard, and you can take a look. Our subject is removed, text is removed from this image. But if you want to get back the text and subject as well, then you can do that easily. So therefore you just have to turn off the new layers. You can take a look. For the text part, we got the background copy 2 layer. If you want to get back the text, you just have to turn off this background copy 2 layer. So let me turn off this layer. Here is our text back, and for the subject, you just have to turn off the background copy layer. So let me turn it off. We have all the text and subjects back once again, and if you want to remove, then just turn on the layers. Okay, so this is how you will remove subject and text from an image using content aware fill. Hi there, right now we will learn drop shadow with distort effect in text. So let's take a look. Okay, this is the image, and it's an empty road image, And right now we will add a text, and then we will apply distort transform shadow effect with the text, and that will be really awesome. So let's start the process. So at first we have to use the type tool. So here is the type tool, and please make sure the text color is white. Okay, so let me write my name here. I want to write Coel. Okay, so let me click on this tick mark, and I want to zoom in this image, or you can press Ctrl or Command plus button in your keyboard. Okay, this is the text, and in this text at first we have to add a drop shadow. So let's do that. And you know how to add drop shadow. You just have to make sure that text layer is selected, then we will go for effects option and then drop shadow. So here is the pop-up, and let's increase the size. Okay, I want to go for 43 pixel. I want to increase the spread for 43 pixel, and I want to increase the distance. You can take a look, we got a drop shadow in our text, and distance I want to go for 22 pixel. Okay, seems good. And I want to keep 100% opacity, and let me click OK. Okay, you can take a look, we got a drop shadow behind this text, and right now we will make a separation of the drop shadow from this text, and we want to create a new layer with this drop shadow. So let's make a new layer with this drop shadow, and therefore you just have to right click on this drop shadow layer with your mouse, and then you will get this create layer option. So let me click on this create layer option, and you just have to click OK. Okay, you can take a look, we got a new drop shadow layer in here, and it's totally separated, and this new layer or new drop shadow layer is totally separated, and right now we can move the shadow from the text. Okay, so right now we have to click this edit menu, but before clicking on edit menu, please make sure this drop shadow layer is selected, and then you have to click edit menu, and from there we will go for transform option. Okay, after transform option we will go for distort option. So this is the option of distort, and you can take a look. Right now we have to change the rotation. Okay, looks good, and I want to make a distort with the right side. I want to make a distort for left side as well. Okay, looks good, and let me take this shadow closer to text. Okay, looks good, and let me click on this tick mark, or you can hit the intro button from your keyboard. Okay, and right now we have to reduce the opacity, then we will got the perfect drop shadow. I mean, we will get the perfect distort drop shadow with this text. So please make sure this drop shadow layer is selected, and now we will reduce the opacity. So here is the option. So let me reduce the opacity. Now it really looks good. Okay, we can go for okay, 55% seems good. Okay, so you can take a look, we got a nice distort drop shadow with text. So this is how you will create a distort drop shadow effect in text in Adobe Photoshop.